Welcome back to the Marathon Mortgage Happy Hour. I'm Mike Witzak.
My name is Rory Farrell.
And today we have...
Cameron Reinoso with Kind Real Estate Collective, partnered with Real Broker.
Damn.
That's a mouthful, but
That's
I like
smooth.
it.
Yeah.
That's good, though.
Yeah, you said you've never done this before, but you act like you have. All right, so Cam has requested some seltzer-y type things. So I am a huge fan of Two Robbers here. Philly company. They used to do seltzers. Now they're doing like these canned cocktail type things. So are you a sweet gold pineapple guy or a lemon lime guy?
I'm going to go the lemon lime.
Lemon lime. All right, cool.
Starter here.
There we go.
My wife, I took this out of my own personal fridge. And she's like, "What are you doing with them?" Because these are hers. So sorry,
Well,
Kel.
thank you.
Yeah, she's had enough. Don't worry. She's like, "Are you drinking at work?" I'm like, "We got a podcast. Of course we're drinking."
Yeah, of course we're drinking it. What are we talking about? So these used to be seltzers.
They used to be seltzers.
I think
yeah.
that's when I might have originally heard about them.
They used to come in like the kind of quote unquote normal 12-ounce cans, like what you would see a beer, and now they've kind of switched to this format.
And the packaging was different.
A little bit different, yeah. This used to, I think it was like leaned a little bit more like Day of the Dead type packaging.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I do know these.
And I think they do have like a little tap room, quote unquote, in Fishtown. So cheers,
Cheers, gentlemen.
But
of course.
I'm not a huge seltzer person. My wife's super into, but they're super dry. They're got good like natural flavor, but they're not like overly sweet.
No, yeah, I love that. I could sip on that.
Yeah,
and that's a
it just
vodka cocktail, you said, right?
Yeah, vodka soda.
Yeah, no, I could
Vodka
sip on.
soda.
That's very, very good.
Yeah, so support the local.
Yeah, there you go. Support local, exactly.
So
Yeah.
where you can.
I just got a 12-pack of Corona Premier last night.
I know.
The premiere.
It's local to somebody.
Yeah, I walked
This guy.
past Human Robot to go get it, so...
So you went through the Kensington Human Robot.
No. The Human Robot's not in Kensington. It's on Girard, where I live.
Oh, the new one.
Yeah, the
brand new
Human
one. All right,
Robot,
sorry.
Yeah, throw me off here.
Well, the original one's in Kensington. I've been to that one.
Oh, no.
You got to like really want to go to that brewery. If you're going
That's okay. I don't need to go there.
Yeah, I'm okay with that one.
Yeah, they took over the crime and punishment space, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, speaking of local, you said you were up in Doylestown. Where are you at? Because I'm a Doylestown guy too. I think the first time I ran into you was in that Kind office in Doylestown.
In Doylestown. Yeah. So I live with my in-laws. They built a place right off of Creek Road, right by Peace Valley Park.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah,
that
so
side.
it's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful over there. So we got a good little thing going for us for right now. Me and the wife, we're gonna get married September probably of like 26. So we're looking at getting our
Like a year from now.
Yeah, about
Cool.
a year from
Right
now.
on.
Yep, about a year from now. Yeah. So we'll see, how that's going to go out. It's just, a lot of money flowing. So
Yeah.
the marriage, we want to buy another house. My big thing is getting involved with rental properties, duplex, triplex situation. I'd love for her to get into a situation where we can buy one in her name, buy one in my name before we get married, kind of take advantage of some stuff. But that's always been the main goal for us. So I always make the joke. It's funny that I'm the realtor that sells people's houses that doesn't have a house.
One day.
One day, exactly.
But
the
that-
numbers
I mean,
make sense.
That's a good jump. Congratulations! You recently got engaged, right? I saw on
Yes.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Very cool. Where was that space with the waterfall and everything?
That was over in, I'm going to say it wrong. I think it's like Taconic Falls. It's over in the Finger Lakes.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
so it
yeah.
wasn't even down this way.
No,
Cool.
yeah. So it's kind of a last minute little turnaround. We were actually supposed to do it up in Lake Canada, and they have like a spot where then like this lake is, I guess, I don't know if it like overflows or whatever, and it freezes. So you can like ice skate from town to town to town and do all this stuff. So there's like an opening, in the trees right by the pond. I'm like, this is.
And you had been there before, so you
No, this was all, she actually brought the idea, found it on Instagram or something.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh my God, what a great idea. I don't got to come up with anything. She
Even
knows
better.
I won't come up with anything, so I'm like, this is perfect opportunity. Thank God that I was procrastinating a little bit. I didn't get a photographer or anything like that. We pushed the trip back and she's like, Cameron, I messed up. I'm like, what?
You're like,
She goes,
great, you messed up on your engagement.
Oh, no,
Great.
exactly.
You're not taking any of the
At this point, I'm like, oh, my, how could you? What happened? Oh, God forbid. What went wrong? Apparently, the timing or whatever, the part of Canada that's that close to Montreal, it's not cold enough at that time for it to be frozen. So it's still open from what she saw, but it's not all frozen winter wonderland.
And you can't leave that to chance, not on the special day.
Yep. So I'm like, well, where are we going? Where you you got to choose something else. And that's when she chose the Finger Lakes. So
I haven't been up there, but I heard Finger Lakes are incredible.
it was beautiful. It's definitely a lot different than your like classic like lake, I would say. Like it's not very like as developed or anything. Well, over by Ithaca where we were at and by the college and everything, it was. But when you go over to like it's Watkins Glen and all that, it's not as like developed. It's just not as many like houses pressed up right against the water.
Okay, cool. I kind of like that better anyway.
Yeah, I know. I do
feels
too.
More outdoorsy, more quiet. So.
Exactly.
Right on. Very cool. So did it go as planned?
Honestly, as close as you could say it went. The worst, I guess, part was trying to get up there, and she knows like I'm a talker. So it's like she knows.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for having. So she knows that when I'm up there, and if I have a plan, like a dead set plan, I'm like, we got to be here at this time or this. She's like, something's up. Like I don't know. She's like, I think a little something. And then of course, so we had an Airbnb. This was the real kicker. We walk in. She made a whole video about this on Instagram if you guys want to take a peek of me being humiliated, thinking that she known for the last week before we went out. But I think that what really made her find out or really like think, okay, this is going to happen was right before we walked into the Airbnb, it had like the itinerary of the area.
Okay.
And we were maybe 15 minutes from where we were going to do it. And it had in there the hike and the falls. And there's two different spots. The spot that we're doing is an overlook. There's no hike. You just park in, we're doing a dinner after, so we're dressed up.
You're dressed nice,
The
yeah.
hike is like whatever, I guess like a mile or two to get to the base of it, where a lot of people, I guess, do these engagements. So she reads it immediately, and she was like, we can't, why are we dressing? Why would we go before dinner, for this? Why are we dressed up?
Stop asking questions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's where I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, you did a lot of research. It's an overlook. It's a beautiful overlook.
There may or may not be a waterfall.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, but people have said great things. And she's like, why do we got to be there at 5? And I'm like, can you just like... so I put my outfit on. She comes in, changes me. She puts like 3 different ones on, which is classic.
She knew what's up,
but
yeah.
she knew what was up, and I'm like, it's over.
better to know what's up and still go through. There was no doubt in your mind, I'm sure, that the answer wasn't going to be yes.
No, we've been together for about 9 years. So
okay.
At this point, she was waiting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just how long can you hold your breath? So I had to jump in there quick. And,
no wonder she started making plans for you. She's like, well, you're not doing anything, so this is what we're doing. We'll be here.
Yeah, it was
funny.
a real problem. Her grandmother still, now that we're engaged, her grandmother's still like, we got to get, when's the wedding? I'm like, we can take our time. It's been, we can't take our time. I'm like, oh, here we go.
As you get older,
I
you
started,
get concerned you might not be around for certain things. Yeah. So.
I was like, I started something again.
Well, congratulations. That was a fun story.
Thank you.
And then it kind of leads into what your plans are with kind of the future with obviously getting married, but buying homes and stuff like that. So he's a big, you might want to chat with him a little bit. He's a big guy on rental properties, 2 units, 3. How many units you got now?
3.
What about next week?
Well,
You counting one? He's settling on
4.
something this week, I think, right?
4, possibly 5.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Congratulations, man. All down in Philly or?
No. They're up. I grew up in the Poconos, like outside Jim Thorpe.
Oh, sweet.
So they're up that way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah.
He's got that place dialed in. He knows the properties. He knows what they're worth. He knows what's gonna.
Yeah, I know
turn
much
a profit.
more about that area than I do down here.
Down
so
here,
I'm like,
yeah.
I don't even bother looking down here. Because
Yeah, the margins are so much better, I would imagine.
Margins
are easier.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
A lot easier. Yeah. It's instead of having a mortgage, you have a car payment, pretty much.
Yes.
So that's kind of what ends up happening, and it's like for the amount of money, you might have a $3,000 mortgage down here and rent the place out for $3,800, make $800, but up there it's like you might have a mortgage for $700 and rent it for $1,200. So you make the same amount of money, just on a different scale.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know that area, and he's got a realtor buddy who he grew up with up there, who's like his best friend. So like they'll see a property, and he's like,
Yep.
"Who wants to buy it?
Yeah.
You or me?"
Yeah, pretty much.
Who's munching this one up? Yep.
Yeah.
I hear it. Absolutely.
It's cool. It's been fun to watch him kind of figure it out and kind of progress on each one, because the first one was a little dicier than probably the one. Not dicier, but you've learned a lot more.
Yeah, for sure. The first one was fun. The second one was worse, and then this one. We'll see how this one goes.
What made the first and the second worse?
The second, a great piece of advice is don't buy a place with people living in it.
Oh,
or
you
don't
squat.
buy-
Oh, no.
Don't buy it. No, not squatters. Like they were already renting the place.
Oh, okay.
And I inherited the tenants. And the issue is like, you don't get to go into the house to see what's going on, or it's not your work.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
know what's right or what's wrong. So like the first year of the place is they're calling me, this is wrong, or this is going on, or that's happening. And it's like, you just gotta,
Because the previous owner didn't do things the right way.
yeah, didn't do things the right way, kind of patched things up, made it all done real quick. And I really didn't care because of how much I paid for the place. So I'm whatever. And then it's just been a headache of every couple months I got to fix something
Yep.
in that place. So now it seems to have been calming down a little bit. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Get the energy right on that.
but now I'm buying this next place, so we'll see how this goes. We'll see.
And that's a duplex.
It's a single unit, but it's in it's zoned to be a duplex as well.
Okay.
And it's like 2,100 square feet.
Oh, awesome.
So I'm probably gonna do that and see how that goes. So.
To split it.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome. That's what you want. I flipped my first property this year.
Nice.
Over in like Telford, PA here, Indian Valley Meadows. And there's just it's a little bit different than the long-term holds, but it's, just the numbers, the margins, how you deal with stuff. I did a lot of the work myself, but then we hired contractors out for like the kitchens, the bathrooms, and a lot of that stuff that it just got to the point where I didn't have the time. I was doing roofing and real estate last year, then jumped into full-time real estate.
Gotcha.
So my thought process, which I think a lot of people's thought process would be a lot slower. Like I'm working 40 hours a week, still working 40 hours a week for real estate, but I don't have clients that are, I'm closing next month by no means. So I got the property. I was like, this will be a perfect in between as I kind of keep building that booklet up a little bit more. And it's been awesome, and it's been a great year, and I can't complain at all. You don't want to complain about being busy.
No, yeah.
But that's what it was. It was just constantly, I'm going out for showings. I had, my first, multiple listings live, all this different stuff going on that I really, I'm leaning on my team, my mentors and all that stuff about. And, then I have this property going on that's like, leaning over our heads. So it's supposed to be a 3-month project turns into a 4.5-month project.
Oh yeah, that's how it always works. Yeah.
But you walk away, you learn a lot, and in the end of the day, there's always hopefully should be profit, which there was. So can't complain about it. It was an awesome experience. I want to do it again. But
yeah, that's great.
Especially that first one, you kind of want to all right, even if I make a little bit of money on it, you're like, the amount of knowledge that you've probably gained for the next 1 or 2 or 3 is more valuable even probably than
you got paid to learn.
100% and time.
If you're planning on doing it more.
Exactly, and time. And that's why I understand why so many people that I do know who used to be in contracting or know the business who can swing a hammer are like, hey man, sometimes it's a little bit better to not do that and to go and use your time the best way possible and hire out for those certain things.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
that's going to be a part for me. That's next time around not to bite off more than I should, at least. Not that I can chew, but just more than I should chew with everything else.
It's got to be a tough catch-22 because it sounds like Ken do a lot of the work. You have a background in that kind of stuff, and you similar, and your father's a big help with that stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Guess what? I'm hiring someone because I'm going to fuck it up. I don't have that background, so I don't have the option. But with you two having that background, being like, all right, I can do it myself and save X amount of dollars. And it's hard to kind of conceptualize what that means in lost time.
Yep.
When you can do it yourself.
Yep.
But I guess, like they said, it's better to pay someone, especially if you're busy doing your quote unquote your real career, your primary career.
And there's so much time that you can't really allot for. Time is the most valuable thing. So in the end of the day, it's like, what are you going to, what's the best use of it? Yeah, I could go and spend 8 hours putting floors in all day long. It's like, but if the price of that really isn't that hard and I can turn around and use that for something much more like a listing appointment, taking out a new buyer, anything like that, even if that doesn't transpire, that's the business that I'm in. I'm no longer a contractor. I'm not trying to be a flipper. My goal is to, be a realtor and a real estate agent. So, just allotting the right time for it. Honestly, it's tough because like you said, you're sitting there looking at the numbers and you're like, I could do this for, I could do that for $1,000. This guy's $5,000. What but it's, what can you do? In the end of the day, it's about if the money makes sense.
The most successful people we've had on this podcast often say that their success took a big jump in when they started delegating things to other people, or even hiring a virtual assistant, or taking things off their plate that they can do, but eat up time.
Yep.
And then how many times have we heard that on this podcast?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Basically, delegation and how they scale is when they give up the easy things.
It is. It's honestly something that I've said for so long. Like if you jumped at, you found me when I was 17 in high school, I would have told you the same. Oh, I'm buying properties by 21. I'm gonna be retired. This is what I'm doing. College is for chums. When in actuality it was like, if I go to college, I'm gonna drink my tuition away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, said I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I had someone in our friend group whose father was very successful in real estate. And, I went to private Christian school. So I was around so many people that owned, small business. Everything was small business. My grandfather had a small business. So it was always like, hey, there's definitely, it's a lucrative thing, to get involved in. So my passion always felt with properties. And I felt like, hey, if I can learn to work on them, can learn to eventually maybe sell them, then I can maybe eventually learn to be able to purchase them and do it the smart way with either flipping or owning them or X, Y, and Z. So it kind of is it's like tiers to kind of get where you get. But, again, when I was 21, I was not in the position I thought I would be, when I was 17. So stuff happens a lot slower.
I think I just told somebody the other day, I was like, when I used to wash dishes for $6 an hour when I was 13, I was like, I have a Ferrari in no time. Like, by the time I was 16, I have a Ferrari.
You got the Matchbox Ferrari.
My aunt was like, yeah, if you work every hour of every day for the next 3 years, you probably afford your Ferrari. And I'm like,
the down payment on your Ferrari.
I'm like, what do you mean every hour? She's like, 24 hours a day for the next 4 years. She's like, you might be able to afford a Ferrari. I was like, all right, cool. So I never got my Ferrari.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
Oh, dude, you should see the stuff that he pulls up on there. Like, this is what I'm gonna get one day. This is what I'm gonna get one day.
I don't even say one day. I go. Wouldn't this be cool to have?
Wouldn't this be cool to have?
Yeah. Well, Facebook.
He showed me like a souped up 4Runner yesterday. He's like, this is the top of the line 4Runner.
It's
got
Facebook
X, Y,
Marketplace
and Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, you're one of those guys just going on Facebook Marketplace and you're lowballing people.
Yeah, not even looking for anything particular.
I don't even lowball anybody. I just look. I'm like totally window shopping.
He's like, would this be cool? I'm like, why do you need a rocket launcher?
Yeah.
Is that legal?
Yeah, like you don't need a flamethrower.
We should probably have one.
We did buy the tank. I don't think we have a flamethrower.
Yeah.
We did buy the tank.
Yeah, dude. It's like retrofitted onto like
joking?
a golf cart.
No.
It's calling it a tank is
That's rich to call it a tank. But it operates and works and drives. It's like
it's on a golf cart chassis, right?
Yeah.
So it's like retrofitted to look like a tank, but it does shoot, right?
Yes, it shoots, drives, works, looks cool. It was all on Facebook Marketplace for $700.
For $700? That sounds like a deal for a mini tank.
It's pretty funny.
I'll have to pull up a picture. I don't
That's
even
what
have
happens
my
when
phone.
you
Yeah, I was gonna say I might need to see a picture of this
Yeah,
thing
you're
after
gonna
we're done.
have
Here.
That's what
have to
happens
show
when
you.
you grow up in the mountains. You got nothing better to do.
Yeah, hey, listen, is that where you grew up in the Poconos?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. So now we're understanding.
I was born in
Get a
Port
picture of who
Richmond.
Mike is.
Yeah. I was born in Port Richmond. I lived there for 7 years in Northeast Philly, and then we moved up to Poconos when I was like 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's where I spent all my time, blowing shit up and shooting guns.
Literally.
Well, see, I did that, but in Green Lane. So
Yeah, it's
I mean, you know what I mean.
Perfect.
It's not as far north, but definitely my lifestyle. So
You don't have to go that far north to start hitting that kind of country.
no, you don't. Not at all.
Doylestown, like especially on that side of Doylestown,
yeah.
like you go 5 miles in one direction, you're like, where the fuck am I?
Yeah.
My wife grew up in North Jersey, like in a not a city, but like more urban area. And then so when we finally moved here, she's like, I never thought I'd live a mile or not even a half mile from cows and farms. She's like, where did you take me? But she loves it now.
Yeah.
That's so funny to me.
Oh, yeah.
You guys talking about that because I'm like Doylestown's a really nice urban like suburb area.
Urban, yeah.
Urban.
All relative.
I'm like, it's just so crazy to me because it takes me 20 minutes to drive anywhere where I grew up. Like, it's bad.
Yeah, but I mean, there's literally like Cold Spring Creamery Road, like that's the road that I live off of.
Yeah.
On the one side, like actually where Patrick used to live.
Yeah.
There's like 150 acres for sale. I'm like, where?
Yeah.
But you just don't know. It's just so sprawling.
That's
out
awesome.
there.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's still for sale.
What's it for sale for?
it's a-
$20 million?
Millions and millions.
I was
of
gonna
dollars.
say honestly, 150 acres in Doylestown, probably close to.
And you can't,
maybe 10.
You can't even develop it probably. It's just like you just won 150 acres to do nothing with. You can't even monetize unless you're a farmer.
So it happened across the street from me. A guy, like where I grew up, the house I grew up in, across the street. I think they bought 250 acres and they started like developing on it, and they got shut down. They
You
just
should
couldn't.
figure that out whether you're allowed to do that.
Well, yeah, I would. I feel like you'd run some permits before you start breaking
I
ground.
don't know what the hell that guy did, but then he
He just
owned-
bought a backhoe and went to work.
pretty much.
God
How they
bless him. Someone's got to do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think he still has the land. So, hey, good
that's
for him.
awesome. They just approved a new subdivision over there off of Edison and Furlong Road. It was like August 25th or something. But yeah, some guy over there's a 17,000 square foot home, I think is what they said was on it. And he subdivided the lots off. But part of the other land that he owns is on the conservation.
Holy
so they
shit.
can't do anything. So, but again, he's got enough for 10, 11 of these lots.
God damn.
That area is really interesting. And don't quote me on this. I'll have to look up. We
17,000
almost bought a
square
place
foot
over there, and it was like kind of off this weird road. But apparently there was like some sort of lottery back in the day where they gave like plots of land to people who won this lottery for like nothing. And now there's like a bunch of just small track homes, like even like some like mobile home type things off of Edison Furlong.
Yeah.
I don't know the whole story, but that off of that road where we almost bought was like a lot of those like lottery won homes.
Wow.
Really interesting.
Could you imagine? That's where you get.
That would be awesome.
Like what was that? That would like they'd knock on your door or whatever. They open it.
Yeah, what was that called?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Pricewaterhouse.
Yeah, something
like that.
They knock on the door. Hey, this is your new home.
Remember the old? I mean, this is before you were even born. So, but they used to show up like literally with like a giant check, and they'd knock on your door, and like you won the lottery or whatever.
I
forget
do
what
know
that's
that.
called,
Yeah, I don't know what that's called. No
Move
idea.
that button. No,
Yeah, how old are you?
Me, I'm 27.
All right, cool.
Oh, you guys
Yeah.
are right around
Yeah,
the same age.
We're the same age.
Old soul. That's what they call me.
Yeah.
No, okay.
You got that gravelly voice, like you've been smoking cigs for 60 years.
Yeah.
It's very sexy.
Yeah. You gotta. Does anybody have a cig?
You guys want to light one? I don't get a red Cowboy Killer.
Yeah.
Light one. Yeah.
Cowboy killer.
Don't tempt him. He'll be
Don't
gambling in AC
Oh,
by the end of the week. By the end of the afternoon.
You'll find him on the blackjack tables getting phone calls.
It's not
Please
good.
pick him up.
Yeah.
Please, for the love of God. We've been trying to close. We don't close. We're trying to close.
I'll lock your rate in as soon as I get off the table. I promise.
That's awesome. I'll lock your rate. I swear to God.
swear to God.
Then in front of my computer, I'm locking that for you.
It's going up every 20 minutes though. Every time I lose a hand of blackjack, it goes up an eighth.
Oh my
Got to
God.
make that money back.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's not that far off. He was at
Yeah.
AC
No.
4 days ago.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
That was your Saturday
that was my Saturday
or Friday?
Saturday
Or
night. I was down
4
there.
days?
I was down there all weekend.
I think it bled into Sunday if I had to guess.
Yeah, blooded. Yeah, absolutely.
close
The
to
hours,
All I
hours
know is
become
that
minutes over there.
I walked out a winner for the first time in a long time. So
Hey,
I walked home.
God bless. Huh?
That's it. Hey, amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen to that. That's, coming out with a little something. That is
Yeah.
success.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
So where you didn't start? Well, I knew you said last year was like your first full year. Like, where did you start in real estate? How long have you been doing it? Like,
Yeah, it's
'cause
a
I feel like I remember you were at KW.
I was.
Right?
Yeah.
That
So
for a minute?
I originally started with, technically my longest tenure's been with Berkshire Hathaway.
Oh,
So
okay.
I've been with I was with Berkshire Hathaway, and I lived in West Philly.
Okay.
Right. My now fiance went to Philly.
West Philadelphia.
Born and raised, baby, on the playground.
Where you at in West Philly? Real quick. Not to cut you
I
off.
was right by Drexel University. I was on 31st and not 31st. Sorry, 32nd and Wallace.
Gotcha. I'm on 29th and Gerard, so I'm right across the bridge.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The zoo there? Yep.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine who lived right across the bridge. Right hand side, make around that left up towards Strawberry Mansion.
Yep.
And, by was it an Acme or is that a shop right over there? Or?
There's a Aldi's right
Aldi,
there.
that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Right behind the Aldi he
Yep.
was at. Yeah.
Very familiar with that place.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Kid loves Aldi.
No, but I joined up with them at first. I got my license. I was doing sales, inside of Walmarts and stuff, asking people if they paid an electric bill and cable and electric. So I did that. Got a bunch of my high school friends involved. Like, this is it, man. We're going to the top. This is one sale at a time, and that didn't happen. But we did great. There was good things. COVID happened. A lot of people, it was just a lot of confusing times going on. So some people started falling out, and it just got to the point where it didn't make sense. So we left that and decided that it would be a great idea the minute that job ended that I would just pack up and move from my house and move to Philadelphia, because that's the time to do so when you got all this freedom and no income.
No better
So
time.
exactly. So we jumped on the opportunity, signed a contract with those guys. That turned into a whole thing where they signed a apartment to us with no certificate of occupancy. So we literally have the trucks loaded and we're moving that day. The guy calls me. He's like, I don't know where you're moving. And I said, what are the spot we signed a lease for? He's like, doesn't have a certificate of occupancy yet. I'm like, then how do we sign it? How do we sign a lease? This is before I had my license, mind you. So okay,
Yeah,
it's not
you
just
didn't know anything.
little disclosure.
yeah.
No. But
That's such a Philly story. though.
yeah,
It's like-
so I'm
there's
literally,
no rules.
I'm
There
telling
are.
them, so we negotiated a better price, whatever. We're going back and forth trying to just chew each other's heads off, and it ended up getting to the point where I was able to make a deal with them to get the newer construction for the price they would give us the older construction one for.
Okay.
That didn't have the certificate of occupancy. Why the new one did and the old one
Yeah, how
didn't,
does that work?
I didn't know. Didn't ask the question. I just said sure. So we moved into that place then. That's when I gunned for my real estate license and then hung it up at Berkshire Hathaway. And that was down in, I was in the art museum office, but that was a part of the Center City office.
Okay.
Linda
Oh,
Emerson.
you're right there on the corner.
Yeah, I was right there in
by
the corner.
Civil Barbershop.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
man. Exactly. So it was awesome. They were super nice. Betty, the admin over there, was amazing. She helped me out a lot. And learn some stuff, but I also didn't take it seriously. They had something with like lead tracks. They would take you out and like you get rental leads that would come in or whatever. I thought that was like the cat's meow because it's like, hey, like this is, everyone's renting in Philadelphia, especially at this time. Just started, I could get whatever. So I'm doing showings that way, trying to build up a little bit of a database. And they had a mentorship program that was like different than a lot of other places. They took a percentage and they would help you. That person was kind of like, hey, the minute I help you and the minute that this is done and I'm not like making anything off of it, I'm not going to be there, type of thing. So I didn't like,
vibe.
yeah, exactly. So I was like, the vibe was a little off. So I was like, that's okay. She kind of helped me a little bit, but I wasn't taking it seriously. I was a roofer at the time. So,
Yes, you had an income.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm driving up here, doing roofing out of like Sellersville, Percy areas, driving
you'd
back down to
hike
Philly.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus
so,
Christ, dude.
I like the timing for me. And it was dumb. Again, it's whatever, but people got to find their own way. So I
Yeah.
found my own way, doing it, but it was, I was
You doing
stupid.
shingle roofs or you doing
yeah.
flat? Yeah, Jesus.
So I wouldn't install as much. We'd have full crews that would install. I would help like manage those installs, but I would do a lot of like the repairs on the
Gotcha,
back
gotcha,
end. So I would
gotcha.
do flat roof repairs, shingle repairs,
Like warranty
windows,
work and stuff, or-
Well, I would do the full replacements.
Gotcha,
so
gotcha.
like not the roof replacements, but like the windows,
Yep.
the doors. I would do like some pretty big siding projects, but again, full jobs. Like if you're signing up, you want your whole roof or your whole siding done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll mostly have a crew for that. But for the windows and all that, we would go out and be the people, windows, doors, and then smaller stuff for siding, roofing, and all that type of stuff. But super, super awesome job. Like I said, it was backbreaking work, but I think it's awesome to learn every aspect. And again, still along the dream of when I was 17 that I'm going to learn every aspect of homes. Yeah, every aspect of homes. That I wanted to learn to try to be that person. So I was with them for a little, then switched over to KW, moved back home to this area, Montgomeryville,
Yeah.
and that's when I joined up with the Phil Voorhees team, and I found them, and that was kind of like where I really hit my stride. I would I would just say I lost my sales mentality. Like I just didn't care. I was
When you were at Berkshire.
when I was with Berkshire, when I was roofing, like I just didn't want to be that person anymore. Like I didn't want to have to try to feel like I was putting on a show or whatever. I got comfortable. So when I joined with Phil, they just kind of helped revitalize and reignite that in me of like why I loved talking with people, why I loved being involved in sales and all that, that kind of stuff. And then it gave me a lot of the confidence. I didn't do any of the Keller Williams stuff at all. So all of their training and all that type of stuff, I didn't do any of it.
Damn. Yeah,
No, yeah.
You're doing good. I just didn't want it to cut off because if it cut off, I was like, fuck.
No, you're good. So I wasn't a part of the KW, like normal coaching classes, anything like that. Phil figured with his team and the way they would train would be better. And then shout out to Kim, the transaction coordinator that we were using. She, would sit me down when we did contracts, when I'd get someone under contract, help me with other paperwork. If Phil had something under contract, she'd let me work through his, see what his was. They were there to help me review offers. Like they really like allowed me to kind of hit my stride. So when I was with him, the team kind of evaporated about like 6 months into being it. And then me and him still worked together. I was building up a booklet. And then it just got to the point where we were sitting down with Kind and I really had to get in those crossroads where my first time getting involved in real estate, I told Phil like, hey, I'm going to take this full time and, based on these metrics or if I can hit these numbers, so.
So that was kind of the catalyst is that it just kind of like naturally dissolved
progressed.
at KW and then Phil was sitting down with Kind and you were like, all right.
Yeah, I will
Numbers
say,
look good.
as much as I'm sure Matt and all those guys would love to say that that's not how it was. Phil was the only guy. They were recruiting Phil. Phil and Matt went way back. They were on a team back in the day. So that's kind of how that connection with Kind got in there and all of that. Phil and I were interviewing with other brokerages to see if we wanted to go somewhere. We were kind of still a team together.
Yeah.
And Phil, kind of kept to his word with that, which again, he's one of the best people I could have
Cool.
partnered
Yeah,
with.
we haven't
truly.
met him yet.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. A lot of good stories out of him for sure, but he's an amazing guy. So that's what had us join up with Kind. And the minute I joined with Kind, I'm like, all right, let me take it full time and just jump in. I guess technically it was about a month. I joined with them in November, and then end of December I took it full time and went full time real estate. Yeah.
So that was December 2024.
24.
Oh, so you're like, you said old soul. You do have that like kind of like confidence and just kind of, maybe it's not confident. Maybe it's just like you just carry yourself like you've been in it for a while. And
I tried telling him when I was downstairs before we started.
Yeah.
but honestly, I mean, the amount of transactions you've done, like, I mean, I don't see
old.
your numbers. Yeah, I'm old.
His
I don't see your
hearing
numbers, but I
doesn't
see
really
on
work.
Instagram, like, I mean, you're doing stuff. It's not like a lot of people their first year or first whatever 9 months aren't doing what you're doing. So
Dude, he sold energy in a Walmart. I'm pretty sure you could sell
well,
anything.
that's what I'm saying. I mean,
dog.
I wanted
That
to get,
rejection teaches you something.
I'll tell you
Don't
what.
you talk to me.
I wanted to get back to like the whole.
Just get your bread. Just go get the Kellogg's and bounce out, man. I'm not just asking you paying an electric bill. This has got to be a fight.
You're going to stab me.
It's like, why? It's got big chest. Why? I'm like, yeah.
What Walmart too?
I would be all over. So I went Hazleton.
Where the Walmart is specific.
Oh, yeah. Dropped Hazleton on him. Oh, dude, Hazleton, Tamaqua, Lehighton.
Dude, this is my mom lives in Lehighton. My dad lives in Tamaqua, and I
Sounds
grew
like
up
you
going
guys-
to
Stop.
Hazleton.
You
Yeah,
guys got this. I'm gonna leave. Okay.
yeah, get out of here. We're gonna talk.
We're
So
gonna
you
talk Hazleton.
You didn't speak English in Hazleton.
No.
You're supposed to-
Oh, I learned my entire spiel of electric
Spanish?
in Spanish.
Yep.
It was a
Yep.
problem up there. It's the only place I got groped multiple times.
Yeah. Yep.
Was that a
Groped.
problem though?
Well,
When it's like
whatever
a
you got to do
70
for us.
Yeah, when it's
Cut
a
that out.
75-year-old grew up in it, it's kind of a little different. When you work,
You ever been to the Lowe's up there?
yeah.
Yeah.
When you work, I did a 3-year tour at that Lowe's. When you're working at Lowe's and they start groping you when you grab lumber, it's like, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
really want this happening.
Yeah, it's like, you know,
kind gesture, but
Thank you, but that's not where the 2x4s are.
yeah, you're supposed to.
They're in the front of the store, man.
You're supposed to brace my back.
So funny.
God.
Man.
That's awesome.
He heard Hazleton and he lit up.
That's it.
over
Shut
there.
up! I was like, "What'd you say?"
What'd you say? My neck of the woods?
Somebody understands my pain.
Yeah. So over Hazleton, Tamaqua, Lehighton, we would be in Bethlehem, Whitehall, sometimes Allentown, but they had like the physical locations. Some of them local, like Hatfield. Honestly, that was as close. King of Prussia was a really good one. Elverson out west, Reading, Wyomissing, Palmyra, which is like over by Hershey, and Harrisburg.
Okay.
And then down in Philly, so Springfield, Columbus Boulevard, Rosie, Wheat Chief, and I could probably list.
Man, you're just rattling them off. You took
Oh
passion
yeah,
in
no,
your
that's
job over there.
PTSD. You guys are bringing me down, and
Yeah.
I'm like locked in, like just staring at the corner. It's like, Cam,
Shots are going
wake
off.
up, Cam. Yeah. It's pew, pew. It's like there's bombs going on. You guys got to cut to a green screen of bombs behind me, man.
Yeah.
I got to pull you out of this hole. Hold on a second. We got to get you out of the PTSD.
Yeah, yeah. Pull me out.
But it was you have a similar thing when you were young. You immediately
was
knew,
young.
which wasn't that long ago. You knew immediately. It sounds like you that you wanted to be in real estate or at least be involved somehow in properties by like. And you said you had some family members doing that.
Yeah, so I would say I did. Like my grandfather owned a small business, but he was like in the salvage yard, so he only bought he had properties that he would buy, but it was not like there was one for my grandmother that was actually like the flip that I did and all that. So like those type of properties, but he wasn't involved. Really, it was a friend of mine's father under the name under the name Huntsberger, and they own Spring Hill Realty over in like the Harleysville area. He's got a lot of properties in like Pottstown area, but he's got shopping centers, all that type of stuff. But that was like when truthfully, it was like, you're in high school, you're young. I was like, going over to his place. We'd like be drinking or whatever. It's like 5:00 in the morning. His dad wakes up. He's like trying to check out the garden, this gorgeous house, big pool. And we're over there like, yo, how did you afford this? He's like, sit down.
I did the same.
Join me for breakfast.
Yeah.
But he was an amazing guy. He still is. He's an awesome guy. But that's really where I found like my love for properties. Where I was like, really, like you have this amazing life, and then the story behind it. It's like, kind of really felt like anybody could do it. So
It's cool that you guys had that experience because I didn't not that it was right or wrong or whatever.
We
but
share a very similar
You
experience.
guys really do. You need to grab a beer
Yeah.
sometime.
Yeah.
But it's funny. And then you immediately went into, things that lead you in the direction of real estate. It's like, the building, the windows, all that stuff that lends itself to having the knowledge that you need now, the sales stuff. Like it's all led to where you're at now.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's where I've done well with some, I guess like some of the first time home buyers and other stuff. I mean, I'm naturally like a goof type of guy, but I mean, I think a lot of people when they, get to know me and they understand how serious and my passion for the business and all of that. And then the expertise of the building and everything on the backside. I'm not saying I'm, was the best, one out there or wasn't the, kind of the jack of all trade, master of none, but it was enough that you're around it that, it just, it made people feel very, very comfortable. And especially in a world in our type of market where it just kind of fit the bill with, everybody's offering way over asking, they're waiving everything and people are super confused and they're like, I have no idea what, any of this is, we did well enough for whatever that we didn't work on this. Or if I did work on it, my dad was out here. Like, I don't know what this is. I wasn't taught this. I didn't learn this. Being able to kind of convey that and just really make people not feel scared. Everyone feels really scared. So.
Well, the inspection piece is huge. We had Ryan McLaughlin in with Jackie McLaughlin last week, and he said something similar because we were talking about on the way up, you crawling through crawl spaces and basements and stuff like that. He mentioned that literally on the podcast. He's like, yeah, I've been in more crawl spaces in Philly and things like that where you got to do it because if your client's waiving inspections and you're kind of like quote unquote signing off on that, you got to do everything in your power to make sure that they're buying a house that isn't going to have a giant structural issue in the basement or whatever. And he said he walked up to an open house and no one had gone in the basement. And he was like the last showing at the open house or whatever. And he's like, no one's been in this basement before. Like, this is crazy.
Nobody was in the crawl space.
Or crawl space or
the
whatever.
Crawl space, yeah.
Because he said there were still cobwebs.
There's still cobwebs.
Yeah, still cobwebs. Yeah, it's amazing to me, and especially in a world where real estate, I mean, the whole industry has just continuously changed. To be in a part where you're not going to provide value, like your number one thing as an agent is to provide value. There's no like, at least in my opinion, it's no more of just putting a sign in the lawn of because it's mom or dad's house or whatever, and you just kind of wait for the offers to flow in, which I think a lot of people felt comfortable with, and they kind of have still been in the business because there's still an opportunity for that. Some people are like, hey, if we can list it cheap, like how does making 150 grand sound? They're actually not running comps. Mom and dad are fine with that. So they're getting the offers and they're running away. I think on the buying and the selling side, it's just, there's a lot of change going on. And if you're not providing value as an individual and as an agent, crawling through the crawl spaces, looking up through, like if you can't provide that, being someone that you find that from somewhere, have a revolver of people that you can call, bring them through if they're serious about putting an offer in or anything like that, and just kind of level up that difference. I won an offer this year by being the only person. I put an offer in on a property contingent in the middle of this crazy market. Nobody could ever, tell me that my property, we can't go contingent. I have to sell first. And we put an offer in, found a property we loved. And I showed up at the open house and I'm talking with the agent for like over an hour. And then she eventually goes, wait a minute, Cameron, are you the person that submitted an offer on the property? I'm like, yeah. She's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I literally came to, I wanted you to see how I ran my business. I want you to meet me. I want you to have that faith in me, because this is no longer you just accepting our offer. You're accepting the way that I'm going to run my business and having the faith that I can turn this property quick enough for not only you to make money and make your clients happy, for me to make my clients happy and make money, for this whole entire thing to work, now kind of rests on my shoulders. So it's like almost like a torch. And I want you to feel as comfortable as possible. I want you to see the pictures of the home. I want you to see how I run my business. And we beat out a cash offer because of that. And she went to bat for us. And she was like, do not, I'm taking some trust in you. Don't fail me. But, I trust in the way that you're going to run your business. That's awesome. That was just something for me that was, opened up my eyes even more to the way the business can be run, so.
It is. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a people business, whether, sellers and buyers, but also the realtors that are involved, the title, like there's so much to the service aspect of it. And I mean, we run up against it all the time. I mean, we got a lot of first time home buyers, young buyers, and they're always shopping us against other, lenders, which is fine. Totally cool. But one of the things that you got to shop, you have to be aware that there's like a service aspect to it as well. 'Cause there are going to be times where Rocket Mortgage might have something that they're doing where it might be an eighth better, but you're like, guess what? You're not going to settle on time. They're not going to get you commitment. You're not going to run the appraisal waiver to make sure you get an appraisal waiver before you make the offer. Like kind of go in those extra steps. And it comes back to like, how much are you passionate about it? How much you care about the clients that you're working with? Because guess what? Rockets, you're a number, you know? So it's super important to realize that and hold value in it. And it's tough with first-time home buyers to
Oh yeah.
take that value because they see the numbers.
Exactly.
And when everything's high, rates are high.
Yep.
You know, costs are high. Maybe they're paying the buyer side commission. You know,
Yep.
home prices are high. They're pinching pennies. Everyone is, but like especially those people who only have 3 or 5% down.
No, 100%.
So it's like, you know, you show them an eighth a better rate. They're like, whatever.
They want to jump.
It doesn't matter that
Yep.
we just spent the last 6 months with you, and you know,
Yeah,
our names
exactly.
on the contract and our
Yep.
names on the pre-approval.
No.
So it is. I mean, bringing the industry back to realizing that it is part of, you know, it's a people industry, and that's a huge value.
Exactly, and that's how you're gonna. In the end, like you said, in the end of the day, that's how you're gonna win. Like if you gotta have the right people in your corner. I won this one of these last offers. All the again, we had escalation clause, so like it was competitive. But she even said, she calls me and she was like, "Hey, one of the main reasons I wanted, like I was even excited to present your offer." She's like, "It just so happened the lender that you were using, he went to high school with my son." She's like, so I just knew, so like for no reason at all. So I'm going to, to him and I'm, hey man, you got it. He's like, dude, all I did was say I graduated from Saturday. I'm like, that's all it takes, brother.
But
like, that's all it took.
That wouldn't have happened had he not had the conversation with the listing agent, though. That wouldn't have happened. And that's one of the big things that we do
Providing
as well. It's like, hey, I put CC me on the offer. I mean, if you feel comfortable, CC me on, I want to be on there. I want to be involved in this from the get-go. I want to call them. I have this whole like spiel of like email, like this is their qualifications, this is their DTI, non-contingent, da-da-da-da-da. Like here are the highlights. And I'm also going to follow that up with a phone call. And 9 times out of 10, like it makes a difference.
Oh, no.
It certainly makes a difference.
I think it always
all
does.
weekend. I called like 3 listing agents this weekend.
Yeah, and then it gives, I mean, selfishly, this is why we do it, but like it gives us an opportunity to get in front of another agent, like show them how we do our business.
How you do your business. But
like,
see, that's how it should. It's almost like you said, selfishly, but it's like it's how it should be, because it went to such a way of people don't want to be sold so much by like other people that's why these other companies like Rocket Mortgage and all them even exist, because someone can feel, oh, I don't have to feel bad, I don't have to feel any stress, I can just type in my numbers and they'll tell me what I get. And it's like there's a reason why you want someone fighting for you in your corner. Is that exact reason, because if there's not a connection, there can then be an established connection. There's a way that you can have those conversations with listing agents. Those go like, that's leaps and bounds, because if someone could just feel comfortable when presenting something, I can't, like again, another one that happened to me this year where it was like, you sit down and you review everything and there are ghost offers. You're like, okay, I didn't even know I had this offer. No one even let me know. No one even, I don't know who this is. And then you see like, again, which is no fault of it, but you see like a Loan Depot or a Rocket Mortgage and you're just like, it's like,
a different model,
it's like, what, am I supposed to reach out and call your lender and find out more about this? Like, am I supposed to do, it's like yes, of course I want to do that because it's my job. But in the end of the day, your job as the buying agent is to deliver this pretty little beautiful package. So I can just be the in between and grab it and hand it to my seller and say, hey, this is what it looks like. I verified everything. It looks great. Here's the offers that we have. Here's why I think blah, 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 or blah, blah, blah. But 9 times out of 10 in this market, everything's going to be, within a couple $1,000, escalation clauses. If you're not calling for highest and best, people have just been going crazy. So
every little bit, I tell you, every little bit counts.
Every little bit counts. 100%. We do like something like offer highlights where I'll break it down, put it on Canva and everything. Shout out Kind Real Estate for the idea, but and you put it all together and I record myself like I would one of the videos I post.
I was on one with Andrea the other day and a video popped. I'm like, oh, what's up, Andrea? Like she had this little offer highlights where it gets you to know who that person is.
Exactly.
As an agent.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just, in my opinion, it's like that's the providing the value. That is now in the it's not only that, it's utilizing your connection. Like you've either been in the business or you've talked to enough people around where you can utilize and put you're in a position of like, hey, I want to leverage whatever I have so that you can win. And if that little bit helps, I want to throw whatever, almost sticks, so it's being creative and just doing it a little bit different.
And that little thing, it's like you're providing the same information that you could have written, but it's like that stood out.
Exactly.
For better or worse, it stood out. The agent was like, "Oh shit!" Clicked on that, hit play, boom. You get the same information, but it's like it does like multiple services there.
100%. And it's also super reassuring, especially me. It's first full year into the business and everything, and so super super encouraging for a new agent to which I would consider myself like newer, you know, to sit there and have other people who've been in the business for so long, you know, and they're like, hey, listen, like I love that video, you know, awesome job, you know, going that extra mile, like, you know, and it doesn't mean, who knows if it really gives us that extra chance, but it's that validation of, hey, I see that you're working that much harder. So it gives me,
put it in their head.
It gives me that feeling that if we are in a situation where, you know, shit hits the fan and we got to do something to make sure this closes, you're going to go ahead and do that. You know, I've already been in the situation where I'm installing handrails because, you know, we got the better of an appraisal, you know, and we're like, hey, well, that attic, you know, you guys said not livable. Well, it's not livable square footage. It's just an attic space. There's no heat. Like, of course, there's no heating. It's for storage.
Yeah.
So they were able to, you know, kind of wave that one. Then all of a sudden, something else comes. The back steps need a railing. I'm like, these guys, you know, I'm like, they're just pissed off. Like, they're pissed off. We got it. We got them to wave that. So now they gotta throw something else at us, you know. And then you're there day of, lenders communicating with the other side. I'm communicating with me, and you know, I was able to have a railing order, drove over there, installed it, put it in, and we were able to get pictures and get the clear to close and be ready to closing. So it's boom. It's exactly like, again, and that's why you have the right team. You know, it's crucial. So like you said, every little bit helps.
That's why I think we can wrap up here soon, but that's why I think social media and something that you're good at is so important. It sucks that it has to be this part of like, this big of a part of our industry, because it didn't always have to be that.
Yeah.
It gets you to know, or gets people to know you and who you are. And as long as you're authentic on there and kind of like put things out that are organic, like it really gets people to know who you are before they've even interviewed you. Or, you know, if you're a listing agent checking your offer, you're like, all right, cool, this guy does business. This is the team that he works on. These are the people that are connected to him. You know, this is like how he operates. And that's why we started this podcast. Is honestly, to sit down for 30, 40, 50 minutes with someone and just get to know each other and get to have people get to know us. So
no, and I appreciate you guys having me on. And I mean, it's been awesome, you know, conversating with you guys and everything, and just trying to, like you said, learn more about you guys, have you guys learn more about me, and just try to figure out.
You were worried we weren't gonna have anything to talk about.
Well, I don't know if there's like a topic, you know, I don't know structure, you know what I mean?
It's just funny, behind the scenes, you're like, what if there's like dead air? I'm like, don't worry about it. We're going to be fine.
Well, that's why I find it funny. You're like, well, something you're really good at, social media. Like, I wouldn't. The whole reason I joined with Kime was because of social media. I was door knocking.
They're really good at social media.
Yeah, I was door knocking people, going through grocery stores. By no means, like, I'd never wanted to be the person to record myself and have stuff out. I just felt uncomfortable in front of the camera. I didn't feel like it was like a natural feel or anything like that.
You get used to it eventually.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm much older than you guys, and I didn't grow up with this shit.
I love hearing you say that. Like, you're like a superstar now. You're like,
he's like, I felt that way until Howard Stern called.
Just think about that.
Now I have a contract with Sirius.
I didn't even have a work-specific Instagram 2 years ago. So it's like,
oh yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, because it wasn't part of the business when I started. You know, it just wasn't. So.
Boomer.
I know. All right, cool. On that note, let's talk about a win. What's a win that you just had?
So a big win for me, which has been, you know, awesome. It's you know, something that I didn't count at first, but it was something that Matt reminded me of. Like, you know, a lot of other agents haven't done this. There's been people like, you know, 10 plus years in the business that haven't gotten one. It was, I just got my first $1 million deal under contract in Collegeville.
Congrats.
So shout out to Del Grippo for building it. but yeah, it was an awesome deal all the way around. How we met the people, how we got it to come through, and we got it for under asking. And it's just, it's awesome to be a part of that and just be a part of that kind of, like, I don't know, the growth of my business and that next stage of where I want to help people, because this year has been very focused on just, you know, building, as it will always be about building, but not as structured or focused in certain ways towards just buyers, just sellers. It was just kind of like, hey, whoever I can help, I want to help. So it kind of solidified from the first deal I did of helping first-time home buyers and all that. Then now at a stage at this point at the end of the year where I'm helping someone who's, you know, they purchased a new construction 18 years ago and they're just kind of ready for their, you know, last, like, end of life home, you know, as they would call it, you know, until they're done and ready to downsize. So it's been awesome to work with. I feel like the whole lot and plethora from all the way from someone who's, you know, just starting to like someone who's like basically on the end of the journey. So that was a really big win.
And the numbers big, which feels good.
Yeah, and the numbers definitely large.
All that journey stuff's nice. But
all that journey stuff's nice, but now I'm $1 million man. Cam, the $1 million man. Quote it.
There's your new Instagram handle.
Yes.
All right, Cam. Well, thank you for coming in. It was cool. We flowed. What are we at?
50 minutes.
Woo! There we go.
I told you guys, I'm not much of a talker, so it's tough.
We'll have to edit it together.
Pretty quiet the whole time. I talked a lot.
I gotta move the mic closer.
So, but thanks again. Who are you with?
I'm with Kind Real Estate Collective, Real Broker. Appreciate you guys for having us out there.
Hell
Thanks
yeah.
for coming on.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
coming on.
Happy Friday.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, bye.